Welcome back to Second Star to the Left. I'm Michelle, and this is my daughter Billie.
Hi.
And here's where we'll share board game reviews, ramblings, and a few wrong turns along the scenic route. It's that time again where we take a look at our Unplayed Games Shelf. Well, in this case, since we redid the game room, you can see behind me. Look at that.
It's nice and fancy now.
Woo! We now have an Unplayed Games table. And to be fair, the table does not contain all of our unplayed games. But since a certain point, I guess back in the fall, we have started putting any new games onto the table, which means that they don't come off of there until they get played. So it's not a complete list.
It's not a perfect system. We've got a bit of a mountain going.
It is a bit of a mountain. But it's working for us. We also have a little dry erase board where we write some of the ones down if they came in as Kickstarters or new purchases. The last time we did an Unplayed Games video, we had 35 unplayed games.
Are you sure?
No, I'm sure. That was a while ago, and we played a lot of the games off that shelf. The problem is that after we played all those games, we are now down to 46 unplayed games.
Making progress. Gonna get that number up.
We're going the wrong direction. A lot of that is Kickstarters fulfilling. A lot of that was PAX Unplugged. To be fair, that was a big haul.
Yeah, and Christmas.
And Christmas. And some of that is us being busy, and so we're not taking the games off that shelf. So what we thought we would do today is talk a little bit about why some of those don't get played, why some of them have been on there for a really long time, if we think they're going to get played, and which ones we're looking forward to the most. I think we disagree on which ones we're looking forward to the most, which also might be a reason that they're still on the table.
Well, I would have picked one of yours, but you said I couldn't pick it.
Well, okay, I did bar you from picking one of my picks.
One of them.
We each pick two. It'll be fine.
I picked 3. One of hers.
Billie gets 3 picks. I get 1. That seems fair.
It does.
For me, one of the reasons why games don't get played is that I just want to come up and play something easy and quick and fun, and I don't want to learn a new game every time we sit down to play.
We both do have pretty severe ADHD, which makes sitting down and going through rules a little more difficult than sitting down and playing something we know.
Also, says the person who doesn't sit down and go through rules. So I got very, very frustrated recently, and I'm not going to pick on that game specifically.
Not going to name names?
Not going to name names.
Good.
Because I sat down to a poorly written rule book. It was one of those rule books where they say, sort the cards out and put this kind of card here and this kind of card here. And yet, when you're looking at the cards, all of the cards look the same. You don't know how to distinguish one type of card from the other. And while there is a way, they're not telling you. You have to go online, you have to look it up, you have to find someone else who already knows how to play, and it's really frustrating. And I have set that game up 2 or 3 times being that frustrated with that game. That's not going to make me want to take it off the table and play it. But Billie came through and bought me, can you pass me my?
Yes, I can.
And bought me this. Because Billie said that IT guys, when they have a problem, they tell it to the duck. So speaking the problem out loud, but not bothering anybody else, which I guess means do not call me when you don't get the rules, helps them to solve things. So now I have this rules duck that lives up in the game room and will hopefully, there you go, rules duck, you could be in the video, will hopefully help a little bit. Apparently, me just talking out loud to myself didn't work because I would say things like, why can't you figure this out, dummy?
But you're nice to the duck.
But I'm nice to the duck. So one of the reasons that some of these games don't get played is poorly written rule books. And yeah, I'm pointing a finger here. Those rule books should be clearer.
Pointing a finger in a very vague direction because you're not naming names.
There, yeah. Because if the rule book is very unclear, then you're not going to want to go forward with the game. You just need clarity. You know what's great? Diagrams of cards, so you know what everything means, right? It's not that hard to put into a rule book. Just show me a picture. Give me the iconography so that I know where it is. Don't tell me to sort out the purple goblin cards if I don't know what they look like.
I'd imagine they're purple goblins.
Okay, you know what?
That one seems a little easy.
I'm just trying to not pick on a specific game. Anyway, that's one reason why things don't get played. Another reason is that maybe... Where are you taking my duck? Another reason, besides unclear rules, is if a game seems like it's going to be very complicated. So if I think I'm going to have to plow through one of those rule books that's going to have me talking to the duck, then I'm going to put off learning the game. And thankfully, there are lots of videos out there that help you learn how to play, but...
What was it we played recently that had an app? That was amazing.
Tiny Epic Dungeons.
Yeah, that was so good for helping us learn it.
Yeah, it was really wonderful to just kind of walk you through that first round, and then you knew what you were doing. It was a good idea.
Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy.
Another reason why sometimes games stay on that shelf is because maybe their time has passed. Maybe we just don't have that much interest in them anymore. I used to go to a bookstore. You remember those?
Nerd.
And I used to wander the store and look at all the books and walk away with a giant stack of books to bring home that I absolutely wanted to read, every single one of them. And then after I read the first one, I wasn't in the mood to read any of the others anymore, and they would sit on the shelf and be not read, kind of like those games sit on the shelf and aren't getting played. It's because whatever spurred you to buy them, whatever interest you had, you've kind of moved on and you're thinking about something else.
The same kind of thing happens to me with Steam. I would buy a whole bunch of games really cheap in a big sale. I would play one of them, and then the rest would just sit in my catalog forever, unplayed.
Which is why we don't make big orders of games anymore. We pick one at a time. Not that they always get played as they come in, but that's what happens with like the PAX haul. We were super excited about every single game that we got. And we've played most of them. I'm looking at the list. I think there's 4 of those that we haven't played yet. And there's no real reason. We just lost track and that's not what's on our mind right now. So buying games too far in advance of when we want to play them keeps them on the shelf and maybe keeps them there permanently. Some of them will move off that shelf and never have gotten played because we've changed our minds, or we, lost interest, or we are interested in something else similar than we'd rather play.
Don't worry, folks. I won't let her get rid of them.
The third reason the games might not get played here is third is specific to a type of game, and that's campaign games.
Yeah.
And I think that it's our fear and our track record that if we start one, we're not going to finish it. And I want to start it and play it all the way through. And we've talked about making Wednesdays campaign game nights, but something tends to come up. And it also feels like it's homework, which we are both very stubborn. So as soon as something feels like homework, we just don't do it.
Yeah.
But so those are some of the ones that we're still most excited for, but we haven't yet gotten out of the box. And the last reason for me for games not getting played is sometimes I want to play a game that Billie's not very interested in, or Billie wants to play a game that I'm not very interested in. And since usually it's the two of us playing, those games just sit and wait and we compromise and play something else. I'm going to stop counting on our Unplayed Games Shelf and hopefully stop purchasing as many games that require more people than we usually play with.
That's fair.
You can't eat the
I thought
duck.
you were just going to stop purchasing games, and that's not going to happen.
No, because it puts a lot of pressure on us, and especially over the last 2 years, we haven't had a lot of big groups come over to play, and feeling guilty about not having enough people to play is just silly. So I'm going to keep them on the table and keep them on the list, but they're not kind of going to be counted anymore.
That's fair.
Yeah, right, in our overall scheme of things. So with all that being said, what's still on the shelf? Well, a ton of things. Some party games, some Kickstarters, a few that we just have to learn, some that we have to play. Oh, also on the shelf are the Keep, Cull, Consider games that need to be considered or they're right out, but we have been playing those.
We have been.
So we're better there. So let's talk about the ones we're looking forward to the most and why they haven't gotten to the table if they're the ones we're most excited about. The game that I want to bring to the table, oh my god, the most, that hasn't gotten there yet.
Is that safe to tip?
Yeah, it's safe. is obsession. I want to play this game. I don't know if you want to or if you would if I made you.
I kind of want to, but it does look a little overwhelming.
But the thing is, I read all these rules and it's not that difficult a game. It's not that complicated a game. It has a lot of pieces, definitely. But I've already punched this game out, sorted them into those beautiful boxes inside this game, and set it up at least twice. But because I'm setting it up solo most of the time, and then something comes up like, I don't know, you guys want to eat. And I don't want to leave it out, and it may not be in the table or something else might be in the table. I haven't played it yet, and I'm very sad because I really do want to play this one. And if I had to pick one game under the perfect conditions to play right now off that table, it would be this one. It is thematically the game I am most excited to play. And I've heard nothing but good things from everyone that's tried it. Okay, let's go to your first one. I'll put this over here.
I think I'm going to do mine as
a set? Okay,
Ducky,
you have to go. Billie's games are big.
Just put the Ducky on the other side.
Which ones are you most excited to play?
2 very big, very fun-looking campaign games that somebody got me for Christmas.
Somebody did get you these for Christmas. Oh boy. Okay, so Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, and Mice and Mystics. Why these? Why are you most excited about these? And why aren't we playing them if you're most excited about these?
Those are all very good questions.
I think it's because, again, these are campaign games. And I'm going to put these down so there's room here. Look. There you go. Again, with those games, and with my next choice, it's because they're campaign games. And first of all, our track record with campaign games is not great. We get distracted and play something else. And second of all, I don't want to have more than one campaign game going at a time. I just want one so that we can play it and then finish it and move to the next one. Have we ever finished a campaign game?
I don't believe we have. I don't think we've ever gotten further than like the first mission.
No, we got further in my city. And
oh yeah, but that's the only campaign legacy game that we've actually made progress in. We still didn't finish that.
There's a lot of games that we've played enough times. If they were a campaign game, we would have finished the campaign. But in this case, for some reason, it's just games that we really, really, really want to play, but we just get stuck getting started because we're afraid we won't finish. And that leads us to my other pick, which is Familiar Tales. Which we actually tried out and loved. So we know we like this game. Mm-hmm. And yet, here it is on the table. You know, not this table. That table.
It's on this table.
So what's the answer? Besides don't buy any more games, which that's just silly.
Not gonna happen.
Although I will say this month so far, we've only had one new game come in. And we only backed 2 small Kickstarters. So for us, that's a really good month. And we did play down that shelf. I mean, as recently as yesterday, we were playing games off the Unplayed Games Shelf. I'm not sure what the answer is. We've tried challenges where we would play one old game, one new game. We've tried setting up a night for taking games off the shelf or for campaign games, and all of that kind of backfires on us. The second we can't do it once, we just throw it out the window and don't do it. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know. Do you have any tricks? Do you have the solution for getting those games off the shelf? Again, I think it comes down to sometimes you just want to play something that you know and love, and you don't want to learn something new. And some days you want to sit down and have a big game day. So if you have the perfect answer for us, then let us know. And which one do you think we should be playing soon?
This was my 3rd pick that she didn't let me have.
Put it down. We're working on it, and we definitely, at one point, were excited about every game over there on the shelf. So hopefully we can remember why and bring them back out to the table. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see,
or if you'd like to keep watching till we get one right,
then please like, subscribe, and share. If you want to find us elsewhere on social media, including on our Discord, then all that information will be down below. As always, open tables, open minds, and play yourselves.
Bye!
I thought you would have something like, yeah, Mom, that's a good point.
Wow, you're dumb. That's terrible opinion.
Games.
What's still on the shelf? A ton of things. Video over.
And we're done. You gotta put down the ducky. Put down the ducky. No, put down the ducky. No. Okay.
It's okay. You're okay, buddy.